But we will come across Toxicity today. It did happen. Boom! Orange bitches! Trigger all the warlocks in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Holla ballers! Welcome back to the Newbie Project. Yes, we're going to do days 2 and 3 now. First, let's address something for those of you who are trying to armory or send things to Moons. Our lovely character there, it was a little bit of trolling from us. We changed the name of the character before the video went out. We've invested too much time and too much money into this little project in order to have it ruined by somebody. Try even with good intentions, like I'm just going to send you a little bit of gold or something like that. Or maybe if I see you try to sign up for my group, then I'm going to bring you in. I'm not going to say anything, you know, anything along those lines that could skew this. Because this project's kind of important to me. Because it's going to allow us to have a lot of answers for questions when people suggest that things are a certain way, right? I can't do this, I can't do that. And we're going to be able to say, actually, we just did that and it was totally fine. Try doing this, try doing that, and give some answers to those guys. So it's very important to me that the actual end result is not skewed. Day 1, a lot of newbie talk. Loved all your feedback. I particularly advise some of you to check the comments down below the YouTube video with people with anecdotal evidence of bumping into people who were exactly what we thought they would be. You know how it can be for a lot of guys. You have a friend plays WoW, and he says, so you don't play WoW, and he says something like, come and play Legion, come on, dude. Allied races are in, we can choose all these cool things. You could be an upright orc soon, or you could be a void elf, and you could be, you know, you could be anything you want to be. And then when the guy gets in game, it's like he's there for 10 minutes and he's like, well, I got other stuff to do because I've got all this end game stuff I'm dealing with. You go do whatever the hell you want to do, gearing up and stuff. Go ahead and gear up. And they're lost. And that's happened to plenty of people. So go check that out. But on another note, we will be doing sort of a final conclusion video where I take your feedback. I have a lot of extensive thoughts on it. This isn't the time or the place. We'll get there. So days 2 and 3. Day 2 and 3. Hunting for that Lego. This is going to be the bulk of this process where we're gearing up. You got to remember, in the pug world, which is the most selfish way you can play World of Warcraft, right? Because if you're in the pug world, if you are joining somebody else's group, you are there to get them what they want. You might think you're there to get what you want. You're not. If you join somebody else's group, that's because they've gone, I want my reward from this. I'm going to choose the best tools to get what I want out of it. You might get something out of it, but ultimately the group has been created for the leader or leader and his friends to get what they want out of it. And you are irrelevant. You're just a number. And that number is typically an item level or an achievement. So with that in mind, this day 2 and 3 was all about gearing up. So I planned it quite strategically so that Monday, even though we lost tons of time because we couldn't boost the character, Tuesday would allow us to do hopefully some Mythic Plus. I know a lot of you are anticipating huge toxicity and difficulties getting into there. Get as many item levels as we can, and also get like a run through LFR, things like that, because then of course it will be Wednesday, which is the EU reset. That meant we would get a chest, hopefully, if we managed to do a Mythic Plus, and also do LFR again, and a lot of stuff resets, like the world bosses and stuff come back. So, Tuesday morning, carried on with the class hall, still proving to be a massive cock block is the class hall and the time gating on the upgrades. Obviously, we're after that ability to equip 2 legendaries, going to give us a massive boost up that ladder of item level competition. We're just waiting. It's just cock block. There's nothing much we can do. We're pretty much done with anything from the mission board now because it's irrelevant for the long-term view. If I was going to play this character full-time, it'd be fine. But for now, kind of dead in the water with that. We're just waiting for that class hall upgrade, which is another day and a half away, but we will get there soon. So Tuesday started off, had a quick browse through the Mythic Plus menu before we even did anything, just to see what was around. Tuesday, again, was part of the strategy, because Tuesday, there's more and more people, in fact, most people are trying to get a Mythic Plus done just to have a chest the next day. So they haven't done a Mythic Plus all week. Reset is upon us. There's a greater chance of getting a lower geared character into a Mythic Plus because they're just people who are like, they're getting that selfish attitude. I just want my chest tomorrow. I'll take whoever wants to come and hopefully get there. So what I looked through, I got declined a bunch of times, which is not unusual. We were totally expecting that. But then spotted a Mythic Plus group going to Blackrock Hold that literally was doing the cooking quest. Perfection. These guys don't give a fuck. They want the cooking quest done. So sign up to that. Got in straight away on our 906 character. Mythic +2 is where we're going to start. Mythic +2 Blackrock Hold. got in there, got ourselves a key, guaranteed us some form of chest for tomorrow. Even if it was shit, we were still going to get something, maybe a chance of a Lego. That was superb. That was absolutely awesome. So got that done. Finally had my own key should we be struggling, so we can boost our own key. That way we can bypass people checking our item level and doing all that nonsense. And then headed straight down into Argus to get the world quest done and whatnot. Spent the remainder of Tuesday afternoon trying to do as many mythic pluses as possible. This varied. The highest I got by being invited was a 5. By this point it was probably about 9, 10. I got really lucky in an Ivashara +4, I believe, with a 920 chest drop. Really nice. That boosted me massively. Gave me a nice big chunky item level bonus. Still no Legos. Still no Legos. Which meant it was time. Once it dried up a little bit and I tried like joining 4 or 5 groups. No one was biting. No one was taking me along. Time for the LFR. Once again confirmed, we were going for the Legendary Ring. Once again confirmed, I thought we'd do one full run through the LFR just to see what we could get out of there. Maybe get some tier bonuses or something. Nightmare. Just the biggest waste of time ever. LFR is such a waste of time. Unless you're after just the Awakening Essences for legendary purchases, getting gear or character progression through LFR is an utter waste of time. You're not gaining any experience or knowledge of the bosses in any way. And you're just wasting your time for what I believe. Unless you're just buying legendaries and you just want the tokens and you don't really give a shit about character progression, really. You're going to go off and do mogs and stuff, so you just want your Legos. That's what it's fine for. But for getting gear, oh, totally garbage. So, got nothing on the first LFR run. Believe me, I just want to point out here, I have had lucky runs where I've got quite a lot of items out of LFR. Unfortunately, the quality of them is just too low compared to what else is out there and is far more useful. So I just left it alone there. Got my legendary ring, though. We have a legendary, got a solid boost out of that. Really nice. Then went back to the Mythic Plus grind. Mythic Plus is such a great source of things, but of course you need higher keys. So your early Mythic Pluses, and this is what we pointed out with the newbie video, your first few Mythic Pluses aren't going to, unless it's Titan Forges, they aren't going to drop anything that's even an upgrade. That's a big shame. It's a real big shame, because you're going to go through Mythic Plus, you're going to wait to get invited, blah, 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 and still not really get anything out of it unless you're extremely lucky. But toxicity, 0. Absolutely zero toxicity. But we will come across toxicity today. It did happen. We'll talk about that shortly. So, dried up sort of late afternoonish. Really dried up. Hunting for this sweet Lego. Ended up in a Halls of Valor +4 or 5, I think it was. Defeated it swiftly. I've got to say, all these, even though like it was lobby geared people, and there's a really interesting twist that happened here. We were smashing them all for +3. They were all +3. We were crushing through them. The problem is you can't get invited to the higher ones unless you've got your own key. But Halls of Valor, open that chest. Boom! Orange bitches! Fuck yeah! Norganon's Foresight, you motherfucker! Piece of shit. God damn. Oh, I was so angry. I was like, of all the things I could have got, a Norganon's Foresight. It's not even that bad for a Warlock. It's actually pretty useful. But compared to what you could have had, oh, man. Funny story is, on my mage, when Legion started, the first legendary I got on my mage, in a weird twist of fate, was Norganon's Foresight. And it went straight in the bank because it was useless for a fire mage in all ways. And that was my first legendary. And this is during the time when the legendary, do you forget? The legendary system was bugged and you couldn't get more than a certain amount. And the time to get them was really long. Didn't have the boost like we have now where you get your first couple quickly. Norganon's Foresight. So I stuck it on. Nice item level boost. Whatever. In the evening, get back to Mythic Plus. Now, this time, there was just nobody buying. Loads more people are at home. They finished work and stuff like that. So they must have had great pickings for players, even in lobby dungeons. So it was time to boost my own key. So I slapped that motherfucker in there. It was a +2 or +3 Seat of the Triumvirate. This is where I met an angel, man. I met an angel. Amazing. So I put this key in, and I was on my own. I'm a DPS on my own. But the advantage, of course, is nobody's inspecting me. And instantly, a 940 Holy Priest joined the group. And I was like, what the fuck? Turns out this is what this guy does, man. Or girl, could be a girl. This is what they do. They look for people who are really undergeared, doing super low keys, and they just go and heal those groups. And that's what she was up to. That's what that player was up to. Thank you, whoever that guy is. Didn't know who I was or anything. Just I spoke to them afterwards, and they were like, "Yeah, this is what I do. I quite enjoy it." So grabbed 2 more DPS and a tank. Obviously on a +2, it was just a fucking cakewalk. Did notice that I was doing way more damage than people who were higher geared with me by this point. Part of that is, of course, being the Warlock AoE is really good. And I want to throw out a hot tip here. If you're worried about being kicked from anything, do a lot of damage very early on, even on trash. Like, blow cooldowns on trash and stuff. And get your name near the top of the board. People aren't going to kick you if they see that, because people take data in the easiest form. Most people are looking for the easiest answer to their questions. Is this player shit? And most people are going to just look at a damage meter. And if they see you near the top of the damage meter, it doesn't matter the circumstances. A lot of people aren't aware of any cheese or anything. The amount of times I've been praised for my AoE when I've just living bombed and done 2 spells on a target that's just eradicated everything, so it looks like I have like 9 million AoE damage. People are like, whoa, you're amazing. It's like, not really. They had no health and I blew them up. So I did all of the damage that could possibly be done to them. People don't care. So when you do get into Mythic Plus, if you want to get yourself recognized and maybe make some friends, do a load of damage. You're going to be safe. People aren't going to bully you or anything like that, because even if your boss damage is weak, it's going to be like, I know this guy. He did a load of damage early on. It's fine. So started pushing my own key. First run, not too bad. But then the dream happened. On our way to a Dark Heart Thicket, I believe it was. I didn't write down the name of the dungeons. I got notes in front of me. I didn't write down the name of the dungeons. The dream happened, which is a thing that's happened. Seemingly, it happened quite a lot. Is a tank that was about 930 and a very low geared 890 monk offered to join together as a group. And this was just a tank friend who was boosting his mate. Now, they instantly declined, which I was really pissed off about. I thought, I'm on a winner here. I'm on a winner, boys. No, it was not meant to be, unfortunately. But immediately after that, and you can see the footage, it happened again. Druid joined with his friend, who was super lowby, and he was just boosting his buddy through keys. That's all he was doing. So obviously he's got a key that's way too high to get his friend into there. Turned out he's actually a main warrior. This was his alt druid, and he was just kind of goofing around on his druid at the same time. And obviously I did what you guys should always do in a scenario. Make friends. You want to be a part of what they're doing. You want to be a part of what they're doing. You want to do that. So I was very nice, very pleasant. We smashed it. It was in Neltharian's lair. We smashed through Nelth's lair and got a +7 that came after that. And I was like, you guys up for this? You guys up for being a +7? And they were like, sure, boosting my buddy, you know? I was like, awesome. So the other 2 guys left, and I was like, instantly requeued, had a high geared tank, 2 DPSs who checks what the DPS is like. Pfft, as if. Healer instantly joins, other DPS instantly joins. Boosted my key all the way up to a +10 Blackrook, I believe it was. But ran out of time. It was late. Ran out of time on the Tuesday. That's where I left it. That would be the Tuesday. So we finished that day about 9:16, which wasn't a great deal of upgrades, but we've got our Lego. We've got a chest coming tomorrow. That'll do for me real easy. Wednesday rolls around, full reset. Straight back to Argus, clear Argus World Boss, fuck all out of that. And luckily the Emissary quest was indeed the Argusian Reach, made life so much easier. Broken Shore World Boss was back up, got fuck all from that. Turned in my Emissary quest, trigger all the Warlocks in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and triggered. Best in slot legendary. I don't know. It's the roll of the dice, man. You can't judge me. It's not my fault. It's a roll of the dice. Right? Like, it could. I got an organized foresight, for fuck's sake, man. But there you go, Biss Lego. Biss Lego right there. You want to know what's even worse? I'm not even using it right now. I will be using it in about a day. Or if I get a really nice pair of boots. And that's because this rung system. The rung system is the world that I live in. So I had to make an item level set. So I am using it, but when I'm queuing up and, like, if you ever find the armory for this character, you'll notice it's not equipped unless something changes. I had to build an item level set. And just due to the way that the items that were being replaced in the legendary slots, it lowered my item level. That made me less likely to get into groups and stuff, man. So I had no choice but to put it in the bags until I got into dungeons. Then I could put it back on, which was really cool. So that happened. That's the thing. So we now have, ironically, now we have 3 legendaries and we can still only equip 1, which is a real pisser, to say the least. That is a real bummer. So I made another trip through LFR just to confirm my suspicions. Like, am I wasting my time here? And yeah, I was. I got a LFR tier legs, which I have better, which is a real shame. I got really lucky with like a 935 Titan Forge in one of the Mythic Pluses, but this LFR is so garbage. So got nothing out of there and then left. Did some more Mythic Plus throughout the day. My key had gone down to +7. Tried to get in a few groups, but this is where it really hit me about affixes. So it's Bolstering and Grievous. There was no healers around, so I had a plus. I think the key I got out of my chest was like a +7 Dark Heart. I just couldn't get people in there. Like, no healers, no tanks wanted to deal with Bolstering Grievous. Like, there was just... We waited a long time. I rotated the DPS in the group like 3 times, waiting. I was just sat there trying to get something going, and it just wasn't happening. But it was Wednesday, so I thought maybe this is where we try and chance our arm and do what we can do. Let's see if we can get in a normal raid. Let's risk it for the biscuit, see what we can do. So I was low. I was 916. As I said, I was about 916, maybe 918 at this point. And just Q spamming, which is what we have to expect to happen here. Just Q spamming, because we've got nothing but our item level. That's it. We've got nothing but our item level. So Q spamming, Q spamming, Q spamming, Q spamming. What I noticed early on is that groups that already have like relatively full groups, so people do, I've just learned of this, and people are going to go, you're such a dick, Preach, because we know all about this. Well, I didn't. People do this 2-4-14. So it looks like people have worked out the exact amount of players to get decent amount of loot without having to actually do a full raid. I guess it's less risk than doing a full raid. I mean, it's not hard to fill a full raid. I don't think so. I mean, when we do our pugs on stream, we take as many people as humanly possible to get most loot we can. But it seems like the community has decided that 2-4-14, I believe it is the way to go. And I noticed that people run queues with, like, waiting lists and shit. What the fuck is that? Who's sat in a waiting list to get into a normal? Now, one thing I did want to avoid here was making my own raid group, because I think that's unfair. Yeah, I can lead a normal... I lead normal heroic raids, you know, regularly. It's not a problem for me, but I think it's unreasonable for this project to lead my own raids, because people would be pissed. So I was like, I've got to pug this. I've really got to pug this stuff. So what I did instead is I focused my attention on brand new forming groups. Things that had like 1 player in them. And my hope was just to get in early. Because it's Wednesday. So Wednesday's reset day. Everybody wants their trinket upgrades or chance at a trinket from Argus. People are just spamming into it. Like, as soon as they see a group filling up, they're like, get in there, get in there. So I went the opposite way. I was like, which groups aren't filling up? Which groups look like they're almost going to fail? I'm going to try and get in there. Because maybe that guy's getting a little bit desperate. Maybe that guy doesn't think he can get a group going. Maybe he's nervous and people, you know, he's going to click. Whatever the reason might be. And that worked. It worked totally fine. I was in a normal mode group within about 20 minutes of trying to find one. I was the first member to join. And it was only for the last 4 bosses. But fuck, man. It's better than nothing, right? We're going to get in there. We're going to do some work. I can start at Varamathras. So got in and went and hid. I'm not gonna lie, I went and hid. I was like, fuck me, dude. I need to hide if I get inspected, because maybe he's not asked, but maybe if he sees that I'm like all relinquished and fucking all relinquished gear with some LFR legs on and my Norgonauts Foresight 1 Lego and my fucking shitty trinkets, he's gonna be like, piss off, dude. So I fucking went and hid. So I went into Antorus near the raid, but off to the side. And then waited until the group filled up. And I've got to be honest, I was the only member for about, 15 minutes? Yeah, about 15 minutes. And then suddenly, another person joined. So we had 3 people in, and then boom. That's when it started to happen like I'd seen in the queues, is the group was starting to fill up. They had members, and that's when the people waiting to get in just went blah, 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 blah. And I was sure I was going to be kicked, because I was way the lowest. Oh, shit, I was way the lowest, but... He wasn't asked. I think this guy was a bit of a noob, which had some evidence later on, but he got his group that he was happy with. There's 20 people. And off we went. We were stood in front of Varimathras. And again, I used that thing that I thought about in Mythic Plus. On the trash, I blew cooldowns. I double-checked what specs are being used on each boss so I could maximize my performance. And literally just went to town on the trash as hard as possible. Not only that, I tried to be Mr. Useful. So as soon as somebody joined the raid, I was paying attention. I was waiting for it. Someone joined the raid. Boom. Summon. Summon. Hellstones down. Every time we stopped, another Hellstone. Do people need them? Maybe, maybe not. Didn't matter. Get it down. Look useful, look interesting, get your name on the damage meter in some form. People are always going to be lazy on trash. Don't be the lazy one. Get people to see your name. Warlock's near the top of the damage. That's cool. That's cool. That'll do. That's all I'm after. Got down to Varimathras. This is where I knew I wasn't going to fuck up. Therefore, I should be fine. Smash Varimathras, no issues whatsoever. Get down to Coven, wipe. And this is where we saw our first element of toxicity. So as you guys well know, when you wipe, that's when people start looking around. Who the fuck wiped us? What's going on? What's happening? And the raid leader left. Fuck. So I definitely thought the group was going to disband. No, the other guy was like, I don't give a shit. I'm in a normal raid. We're 2 bosses away from Argus, and that's all I really want. So we're going to get this job done, dude. And then suddenly in chat, it was just, fuck you all from this druid. I was like, whoa, okay, it's starting to kick off. This might be interesting for the video. Let's see what's happening. It was like, fuck you all. And then I noticed that guy had left the group. Now, I thought he was leaving because rage. Oh, we wiped out Coven of Shivara. No. Actually was kicked from the raid. Moonkin, 938 item level. Moonkin DPS is, our survey says, 300k and didn't die.
What is that?
Andy, your thoughts on a Moonkin, 938 item level, 300k DPS on Coven of Shivara without dying until the actual wipe about 6 minutes in. I know, and this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. That was the first toxicity I've seen, and it kind of backs up our point. If you don't put in the minimum amount of practice just to learn what your class is about, no one's saying you have to have perfect dot management or perfect AoE or perfect anything, but not doing the absolute basics to understand what's going on makes you stand out so much. And likelihood is, if we hadn't have wiped, nobody probably would have cared that that druid did that damage. But he went into his rage, he was angry, he started swearing, and the guys obviously started looking. I was fine. I'm an Affliction Warlock on Coven of Shivara, and I know what I'm doing there. And I'm comfortable with what I was doing, so I was pretty chill. So my damage was way higher than a lot of other people's. It wasn't amazing by any means, but it was more than enough for this group. Which meant that I got to stick around. So about 10 minutes of faffing around, and more people joined. I was there again with the summons. I missed the summon. Hey, come into the group. I got you. Here's a Hellstone. Aha. Would you like me to clean your boots, sir? You know, that kind of shit. And killed it. Onto Agramar, dead. Onto Argus, dead. We didn't get the footage of Argus because I had to leave halfway through. I was only recording the ends because we filmed hours of footage for this. And Andy actually had to take over the end. You did well there, pal.
Thanks, mate.
You got me a relic.
Did get you a relic.
You got me a relic. Yeah, it got me some gear. So we did really well. We did all right out of that. Not bad at all. So Argus is dead. Normal raid dunzo. I'm happy with that. That is where we finished up for the day. That's where we are. And we finished about 927 item level. 927. Once all was said and done with everything through the day. Picked up some good pieces. What I did to jump really high, because you might say that's a large jump. The last tip that I want to leave with you today was, having geared up in the past, there's always that one slot that just doesn't seem to drop. So you might get like 8 pairs of shoulders that are like same or growing in value, but your belt is still like years behind for some reason. It just doesn't drop for you. So I saved my Argonite, relinquished stuff, as much as I could in order to wait and see what slot was lagging behind, then replace that one. So we had some like green braces and a green belt, which I just went down, boom, sorted them out, item level popped itself way back up, and we were in happy times. Got a nice relic off Argus, got some tier from Agramar, and that is where we are up to with this project. So good things achieved today. Got into loads of Mythic Pluses. Had no issue getting into Mythic Plus at all. Really had no issue with that at all. Yeah, I have to wait for some declines, but that's to be expected, right? That's to be expected. But I just kept spamming and spamming and spamming. Eventually someone was like, yeah, sure, come along. That was fine. And no issues once I was in there. And getting into a normal raid, same again. I would leave you with that tip, though. If you're under geared and you're looking for a spot, look for brand new groups starting. That seemed to work for me. We've got 2 more achieves we want to get done on this character before we call it good. We want to get, obviously, ahead of the curve. And I think Keystone Master would be a reasonable goal to go for. Like, getting Keystone Master, that's another achieve a lot of groups ask for. Getting that out of the way, and we should be in good shape. So that is where our Warlock lies. 3 Legos in the bag, 1 equipped, and that is Norgannon's Foresight. Hey! We'll just leave that Bisla go to somewhere else. Alright, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again.